And here we are, yet again, with everybody's favorite weekly show, the Hidden Upgrade Weekly Update. I am your host, Commissioner Matt, and I am bringing you your Week 7 weekly update. Have an exciting show lined up for you guys. We're going to get straight into it, as always, with our this week's Coach's Corner. And without further ado, I'm going to send it over to past Matt with this week's Coach's Corner. Past Matt, take it away. Thank you, future Matt, as always, and welcome to the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Johnson & Johnson, the official sponsor of the Colorado Buffaloes. If it's good enough for Shane Falco's party, it's good enough for whatever lame-ass thing you got going on. And this week, we are welcoming a man who is becoming a bit of a legend in the sport, coach of the Tulane Green Wave, Mr. Rick Dalton. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me here.
Of course. Now, sir, Coach, before we get started, I did want to check in and was hoping to get an update on Ophelia.
Yep. So she's, well, first of all, thank you. And I do want to thank the rest of the Big 12, not only obviously you, the Big 12 commissioner, but the rest of the Big 12 and the coaches for the support. Ophelia's been doing better. Obviously, she still has a lot of tests that she's got to go through. Still not out of the woods yet. You know, back right before the playoff run that we made last year, kind of took a turn for the worse, and you didn't really know what was happening. So trying to balance, my family, my job, and it's just really a stressful time. But she seemed to make a turn for the better. Kind of plateauing out right now, but just keeping a very good attitude about it, and very good mindset about it, because obviously she sees mom and dad stressed, she's gonna be even more distraught than she already is. But she's doing okay.
We're glad to hear it. We'll continue to pray for her recovery and hoping for nothing but the best for her and your family. I did want to ask about this, Coach. I know it's probably a touchy subject, but there's a lot of rumors going around that you had something to do with Coach Big Papa's death. And this was mainly following the comment that he made about your daughter, Ophelia, saying that I think if she was strong, she wouldn't be in the hospital. This was in reference to your daughter's Get Well Soon campaign, Ophelia Strong. Do you want to comment on that at all?
I'm not going to speak bad about a dead man. I will say that despite the bad talk and the bad press that the media made, and despite the cruel words that were said, obviously death impacts everyone. So I just want to say that I'm kind of got no choice but to let bygones be bygones. There's no point in saying anything negative about someone who's no longer with us. In terms of my involvement, I've been interviewed by the police and told them what I know, and I'm just trusting the detectives and the Las Vegas Police Department to figure out what happened and leaving it in law enforcement's hands.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and let's bring this back to football. Let's move away from that stuff a little bit here. I'd like to address the elephant in the room first and foremost. You guys just lost to Arizona last week after starting the season hot. What can you tell me about what happened in that game?
I think that was just a testament to inexperience by this team. You've heard everyone knows, 2 returning starters on offense, 3 returning starters on defense. A lot of underclassmen that are in starting roles this year, and a lot of upperclassmen that haven't got a lot of play time the previous 2 years. So kind of like a new team, with old pieces. And I think you saw a lot of inexperience in that game, a lot of not knowing what you should be doing on every given play. I thought that we had, worked out some of the kinks in a bye week. Obviously we didn't, and when your team loses, you want to first look at yourself, and you got to realize, okay, what could I have done to put my players in a better position? And obviously the coaching staff didn't do everything right, nor did the players, so it was a group effort for the loss. We win as a team, we lose as a team, we move forward as a team, and that's what we've been preaching the last couple of days. Now that we're finally moving on from that loss, because we got a big game this week.
So you have an overall record of 24-9 at Tulane, but you have a losing record against top 25 opponents. You're actually 5-6 against them. You did make the playoffs last year, but you ended up losing to Michigan in the playoff. What do you say to your critics that say you can't win the big game?
Honestly, there's just nothing to say to critics. Critics are going to criticize. I'm not here to prove my doubters wrong, and I'm not here to prove my supporters right. I'm here to put these kids in the best situations for their future. On the field, off the field. If they decide to go to the next level, we've had 6 players drafted in the last 2 drafts. We're looking to get more this season. It's just about putting these kids in the best position possible. When we lose, we take it on the chest. When we win, we brush it off and we move forward. In terms of the 5-6 record, not much I can say to that, except we've been putting ourselves in situations to where we're playing top 25 teams. Not a lot of people get to say that they've played 11 top 25 teams in the past 2.5 years. And we have. That includes the bowl games, that includes the postseason, that includes the rivalries at the end of the year. And we just look forward to, playing in those games, the big moments, nationally televised games like the one we have coming up this week, putting these kids in the spotlight and taking us, the coaches, out of it.
I actually didn't think about it from that perspective. Yeah, if you have that many games, it's a testament to your team's power to be able to have 11 games against top 25 opponents for 2 years or for 3 seasons, 2.5, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, you're definitely right about that. I did want to also ask about your QB battle that you had early on in the season. You've landed on Larry DeBeer. Can you speak to what brought you to that decision, and whether or not there is still any sort of quarterback battle going on?
Yeah, well, Larry DeBeer, over the first 2 weeks, we just thought that he was the higher floor option. We thought that he made the safer plays, the smarter plays most of the time, whereas George Ferreira, the backup, while we do believe in the talent that he is, especially on the grounds and the versatility he offers us, we just felt like he was our more explosive play guy. And we just knew with a young offense, with a young team, that we needed the safer choice, which was Larry DeBeer. That doesn't mean that George Ferreira is not going to see the field for us at any time. We're gonna start mixing in some packages to where he is out there, maybe in goal line settings. But it's just got to be time and place. And Larry DeBeer, can't be more proud of him. That being said, with this past week and this past performance, not really what you want to see out of the number 2 team in the nation, especially out of the QB play. So Larry and I have had the talk, as well as the quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator, that we are going to be looking at his game more closely. So we need him to really step up here as we get into the most important part of the schedule.
Interesting. So the quarterback position is not safe. That'll be interesting to see how that goes. Hopefully Larry can step it up going forward. You did talk a little about it before. You have their biggest matchup, arguably, of your season so far, when you play host to a team that historically has owned the state of Louisiana, in the college football space at least. A couple of questions on this subject. What do you think about the job that Coach Sleeper is doing at LSU and his team in general? And secondly, how do you rally your team after such a tough loss last week?
Well, the first thing I want to do is just say congratulations to Coach Steven. A lot of doubters came his way after he had left West Virginia to take this LSU job. And the way he's done, to be able to turn around the program in less than 2 years, to be a top 10 team, it's just a true testament to the coaching ability and coaching prowess that he has up there. Up there from where we are here in the Bayou. In terms of the game, just really looking forward to it. Louisiana has been known to have some good football teams, but whenever you think of Louisiana football, you typically think of the Saints or you think of LSU. What we've done here at Tulane is we've just allowed a third option in that conversation, where when you start thinking of New Orleans and Louisiana football, you're going to think of Tulane. You're going to think of the Green Wave. So we're really excited about this matchup. Going back kind of to my daughter Ophelia, last year when she started going through these procedures and started going through these rough patches. LSU and Coach Steven Sleeper and the commission's office there, they decided to put together a fundraiser called GoPhilia, and they started selling GoPhilia t-shirts around the stadium, around campus. We're going to be doing the same thing this week. We've already got the shirts and the hoodies out there and the hats for sale. We're going to be doing this. We're reigniting the foundation of GoPhilia, and we're going to be selling the shirts, selling this hoodies, selling those hats throughout the week and on game day. And we look forward to, because at the end of the day, football is just a game. Life is so much more important, and I'd rather be sharing the field with no other coach this weekend than Coach Steven Sleeper.
I respect that. And yeah, shout out to Coach Sleeper for that campaign that he started and what he's doing in LSU. Definitely doing big things over there. So let's take a quick look at the rest of your season after LSU. After that, you take on Coach Dusty in UConn, then you Utah and Cincinnati, and then you close out your season with 2 tough opponents in Wyoming and Cal. I assume the goal is to win out. How do you plan to achieve that goal with all these tough opponents left in your schedule?
Well, you are correct in assuming that our goal is to win out. Obviously, we got to start with Saturday. We haven't really looked past Saturday. I think that's what we were caught up in last week, is looking forward to a big opponent in LSU. And we don't want to look past Saturday. The rest of the teams we have, all 5 of them, UConn, Utah, Cincinnati, Wyoming, and California, all phenomenally coached teams, all phenomenally playing teams. Coach Daniel Sleeper and I have had the privilege of meeting the last few seasons, and our games always seem to entertain the fans. I don't, got much else to say about that. Coach Big Papa Jr. And what he's done in Wyoming, getting them to a top 25 team this year is just truly remarkable in such a short span, especially in his debut coaching spot. And I know the pressures of having a team like that and having that number next to your name and trying to defend that. So it's just a true testament to what he's done with very few slip-ups. Coach Dusty making the playoffs last year in a shocking move, leaving and going to UConn, what most people would consider to be, kind of wild to be doing that, to be leaving a playoff team to go to a smaller school in UConn. But he knows what he's doing, man. He's a professional, as well as Utah and Cincinnati. You can't say enough about those programs and what they're doing. But in terms of these players and this coaching staff, all eyes are on Saturday.
All right. That's very political of you, Coach. I don't know how much this next question is going to do for us, because of the fact that you seem to be pretty sitting on the fence about a lot of this stuff. But we are at the portion of the interview where it's the say it with your chest portion of the interview. This is your chance to talk your shit, say what you want to say. Just make sure that you say it with your chest.
Yeah, and I appreciate the opportunity, allowing these coaches to get on here and really, really say what's been on their mind and what's been on their hearts. And I don't think that there's another conference out there that's doing what you're doing. So first of all, I just want to say thank you to you, Commissioner Matt, and the job you're doing here. I know that you guys have had a lot of layoffs, a lot of firings, and still being able to put together a truly phenomenal product in this Coach's Corner. It's remarkable, the work you've done. In terms of what I want to say, first thing I want to say is how proud I am of this Tulane team. From the quarterback battle to the new offense to the new defense to the new offensive coordinator and what we've done here, it's just truly, truly impressive and remarkable what this team and what this culture has done for not only the campus but the city of New Orleans. I'm not going to talk a bunch of trash. You got a lot of big coaches here. You got Coach Haywood. Coach Haywood, you lick my balls, is just a phenomenal, phenomenal coach. Having that job presented to him at Flourish and being able to get in there and truly make his impact immediately is phenomenal. Coach Big Papa Jr., just great job what he's doing in Wyoming. And Coach Shane Falco, he got in a lot of trouble last year, and really proud of the way he's come out of the gates swinging and just really going to bat for the city of Colorado, for the state of Colorado, excuse me. Coach Steven, Coach Daniel, the sleepers. Obviously, we know which one's better. We know Coach Steven is the better coach, but what Coach Daniel's doing over there at California is, it's a work in progress. But you see what the goal that they're building towards. You see what they're trying to do, Coach Suburban, good friend of mine, a good friend of Tulane and what he's done. Um, Obviously, with the defeat we suffered at his hands last year, but the victory the year before, you just not much you can say other than you want to really run that one back and find out who the better coach is. I'm just really proud of the conference, proud of everyone. That being said, I am tired of the trash talk that's being thrown Tulane's way. You lose one game and all of a sudden, Goliath has fallen or the clouds above us are falling down, and you think to yourself, Tulane's beatable. Every team's beatable, and we're going to find out the rest of the way while we beat every team that we face. Again, all eyes are on Saturday. Look forward to playing that game against Steven, and look forward to showing the world what Tulane football really is.
Love it, Coach. Love it, Coach. And we'll go ahead and end on that. Remember, hashtag Ophelia Strong, hashtag GoPhelia if you want to donate. Make sure you visit the website and make your donations. Thank you so much, Coach Dalton, for coming out and taking out time of your day to do this interview with us, and good luck with the rest of your season.
Thank you. Appreciate everyone here in the Big 12. Appreciate everyone there in the commission's office. Once again, if you'd like to donate, 888 https://gophelia.com. You can find the donate button there. We also have a GoFundMe under Ophelia Strong. Any donation helps. Once again, really proud of the team, really proud of the conference, and look forward to playing the rest of the season. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. And now we will throw it back to future Matt with the rest of the weekly update. Thank you, past Matt, for that wonderful interview, and thank you again to Coach Rick Dalton for participating in that interview. We really do appreciate you taking time out of your day and doing that with us. It means a lot. So stay tuned. We still have a couple more coaches to interview before the end of the season. So we look forward to that. But we will go ahead and get straight into it. And we will get started, as always, with our recap of last week. I'm going to start with UConn at Kentucky. Kentucky getting a big win over UConn. And we actually have a few clips from that game. So we will turn that over here and look at the first one. Looks like Kentucky dropping back here early in the first quarter. Throws a deep bomb. I'm sorry, Kentucky. Wow. UConn dropping back, making a deep bomb pass post route, intercepted by Kentucky. Gets them off to an early start, switching momentum on them early on. Obviously, momentum is huge in these type of games, so that is a big deal to get that swing so early on in the game. And we're going to move on to the next clip here from them. And this one, we see it is now late in the second quarter. Kentucky with the ball in shotgun formation, dropping back here. Sees a receiver open on the streak. A good old-fashioned Joey special for the touchdown to end the half. Huge pass there. Huge way to continue to pile it on going into the half. And then the next clip that we have, also same game. Later in the third, we have UConn with the ball in a shotgun formation. 2nd and 2. Dropping back. Little halfback screen. Ooh, halfback just hurdles over the corner there. Amazing hurdle there from him. Great play there by Coach Dusty at UConn. Switch this up here. And then we have another clip from this game. It is now later in the third, shortly after that possession. Kentucky with the ball driving down the field. UConn with the ball driving down the field again. Oh, same drive, actually. I apologize. Dropping back from the shotgun, throws it across. Gets a nice little touchdown there. Gets on the board. At least lessening the margin of victory there for a little bit, at the very least. And then last but not least from this game, we have UConn with the ball again. It is late in the fourth. They're down by a lot now. UConn drops back in the shotgun. Looks for a deep post route in the middle. picked off, tip drill in the end zone, 4th interception of the game. Pretty much seals the deal. That would be the dagger. Not only was it a tip drill, oh my God, this man is running it all the way back to the house. Was that a tip drill pick 6, 109-yard return for a touchdown? Wow, you do not see that often. Huge play there to close out the game for the coach. Great game there. So now we're going to look forward to next game. Florida absolutely demolishes Kansas State. Doesn't quite cover the 63-point spread, but still gets a big victory there. Then we have the surprising loss of the week. We have Tulane falling to Arizona. We talked a little bit about it with the coach in the previous interview. Obviously not the result that he's looking for, but he's looking to bounce back after that tough loss. And now we are going to turn it over to the game between Colorado and Northwestern. And we have a couple clips here to look at from that game. First one. Early in the second quarter, Colorado's down 7-0, dropping back in the shotgun, running and scrambling out to the right. Has a receiver, throws a beautiful pass to him for the touchdown there in that zone. Shout out to the coach for that great play call and the great execution by the freshman quarterback over there in Colorado, doing big things over there. And then we have the next play. This is Colorado again, 7-6. They missed the extra point. Dropping it back in the shotgun here. Sees a post route in the corner. Just an absolute dot to the back of the end zone to the receiver there. Huge play. Great pass there by the freshman quarterback yet again. That dude just continues to impress week after week. And then the last play that we have from this game to show off, we have Colorado up 16-14 now late in the second half. Quarterback dropping back. Oh, he has an open receiver deep, and it is a Joey special for the touchdown. A Joey special by Coach Shane Falco, drawn up and executed beautifully. Did we actually not show that? Let me replay it just in case we didn't show it. You guys can see it live here now. I apologize if that wasn't on the screen. This is Shane Falco making the call for a Joey special streak route across or deep out to the left. Receiver open and makes the touchdown. Huge play there. And yeah, that's going to net Colorado the victory over Northwestern. They get the big victory, 58-17. LSU and Wisconsin have multiple times where the game just gets rained out and they have to restart over and over again. It's just unprecedented that this happened. But LSU ends up getting the big victory over Wisconsin after all the stoppages and whatnot. So shout out to Coach Steven Sleeper. He's got a big game this week. Let's see if he can come out on top with that one. Then we're going to go ahead and get into now we got Wyoming at California. This was our game of the week. Actually, let's go into the Virginia Tech game first because we'll discuss the game of the week after that. So Virginia Tech hosts Cincinnati. Let's take a look at a couple of the clips from this game. If we could. Hold on. Apologies. All right, we got Virginia Tech on defense here. Early in the first, quarterback scrambling out to the left. Gets absolutely rocked, and the ball picked up at the corner. Huge pickup there from them. Great play there. That's a lot like we saw in the Kentucky game. Early turnovers like that switch the entire momentum of the game. The entire outlook of the game completely changes. Then we're going to switch over here to the second quarter. 5 minutes left in the second. Cincinnati with the ball again, down 13. Gets picked off and ran back for the touchdown. This allows them to go up 20-0 early in the game, which is a huge deal. Obviously, you want to get that momentum whenever you can, and getting up early in the game is a big deal. And next we have a punt here. This was a very controversial play. It's punted. Returner catches it. And it's a safety. And we're going to take a quick look at this again from replay to see exactly what happens. Obviously, the coach very upset after that play. So we look at the replay here. And as you can see, he catches the ball right there. His foot is on the 1-inch line, and then he runs out of the end zone with it. So that is a huge mistake from them there. But yeah, that's tough. But luckily for the coach, it did not hurt him in the long run. They still end up getting the big victory. We're going to take one last look here at one of the clips from the game. Now we're in the third quarter, 3 minutes left. They're up 37-9 at this point. The quarterback just gets absolutely rocked, and it's a fumble recovered in the end zone for the touchdown, and that pretty much just seals the deal at that point. So Virginia Tech gets a big victory there over Cincinnati, 47-12, and they go on to improve to, I believe they are 5-1 now. They got a big matchup this week against California. Now, we're going to get into the game of the week. And the game of the week was a tough one for Coach Daniel Sleeper. Loses 42-21 to Wyoming. They lose the first down battle. They do win the rushing battle, but they lose the passing battle. There's a lot of back and forth here. The game was not as close as it may have appeared. But Wyoming just obliterating the opponent in time of possession is a big reason why this stuff happens. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at a couple of the clips from this game, just to see if we can get an idea of what might have switched the momentum around in this game. And we're going to start off first with Cal having the ball in the shotgun late in the first, dropping back, looking for the deep receiver. Oh, the beautiful jump ball catch for the touchdown. Huge catch. Gets them on the board. Ties the ball game up late in the first. But unfortunately, it kind of went downhill after that, as we'll see later on in these clips. So next clip that we have for you guys here is a clip that shows off. It is 7-7. Cal has the ball now. Again, the quarterback in the shotgun formation. Dropping back. Looking for his receiver in the post route. It is picked off, and that just switches up the momentum of the game there. And like I said before, it was unfortunately all downhill after that for Coach Sleeper. And we're going to pick up here, and we're going to look at the next play. And it is with Wyoming up 14-7 in a shotgun formation in the red zone, or just outside of the red zone. Quarterback drops back, scrambles out, juke and jiving all the way down to the 1 yard line, and obviously after that they would score. So that's a big play for them. Big play, nice play by the quarterback to make the decision to scramble in that play. It's a tough decision to make, but he made the right call in that case. So now they're up 35-13. Wyoming has the ball. I formation. Runs the ball. We're halfback, takes it to the outside, and just takes it directly to the house. Does not pass go. Does not collect $200. And takes a big lead, an even bigger lead over Cal at that point. And then the last clip that we have from this game. We got a Cal clip. They're down 13-42 now in the fourth quarter. That's pretty much garbage time. Hands it off to the halfback. Halfback bounces it out to the outside. Gets a huge run. Unfortunately, it's a little too late. And that is the last clip that we have of this game. I appreciate that you guys sending those clips in. Continue to do that as you can. Either send me the clips or send me the timestamps for when the clips happen, and I will get those done for you, or my staff will get those done for you. But yeah, tough loss there for Cal. Big win there for Wyoming. Now we're going to move on to our schedule this week. We have Wisconsin at Kentucky. That game actually was played live during the during the weekly update while we were recording it. So that game resulted in Kentucky getting a big blowout win over Wisconsin. Coach Joey has a couple Joey specials in that game. Coach Eric just couldn't get anything going and unfortunately loses the game. We had another game, Wyoming at Kansas, that was played earlier today as well. Wyoming gets the big win over Kansas in that one. Then we have a huge user versus user matchup. Coach Suburban Meyer against Coach Daniel Sleeper traveling to California. That game is taking place tonight, actually, at 10 p.m. So mark your calendars. Get ready to watch that game live on national television. And make sure you root for whatever team you're looking to root for. We don't play favorites here at the Coach's Corner. I'm sorry, at the weekly update. But if we did play favorites, we'd be rooting for Suburban Meyer. But root for whoever you want in that scenario. The other big games we have two huge user matchups, two more huge user matchups. One in Coach Haywood at Florida, and he's traveling to Coach Shane Falco at Colorado. That is going to be a huge game. A lot of implications. Both teams undefeated. We'll see who can come out on top there. And then we have Coach Steven Sleeper traveling to Tulane for the Battle of Louisiana, a rivalry game that we touched on a little bit in the Coach's Corner interview. And we'll see who comes out on top of that victory there. That being said, we have 3 big user versus user games. Actually, 4 big user versus user games. Which one's going to be game of the week, you might be asking. After much debate, the committee has decided we are going to go with Colorado versus Florida for the game of the week this week. We will see who can come out on top and remain undefeated. This is a tough game. It's going to take place in Boulder, Colorado. Colorado is playing host to Florida. And we'll see if Coach Shane Falco can stop the seemingly unstoppable Coach Haywood. You'll lick my balls. And see how that goes. So good luck to both coaches in that game. I'm going to move on here to the ratings for the Big 12. See Florida still on top. Wyoming and Colorado all there with them, but Florida with a 5-0 record in conference play. Absolutely killing it. Colorado looking to play spoiler to that. LSU right on the outside looking in with 1 loss. They have a big game against Tulane. Tulane's 2-1 in conference play. LSU's 4-1, so a lot of big implications in that game as well. And then we got Virginia Tech and Cal, both with 2 losses. Or I'm sorry, Virginia Tech has 2 losses in the Big 12, and Cal has 3 losses in the Big 12. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. Both teams playing to hopefully keep their playoff hopes alive. Maybe Big 12 championship hopes alive, but it's looking grim. They got to definitely make some bounce backs. And then, unfortunately, Coach Dusty and Coach Eric are bringing up the rear of the Big 12 at the moment. So hopefully they can make some changes and come back out. And looking at the top 25 now, we see that Florida is now at number 3. I think they actually remain at number 3. Tulane obviously drops after their loss. They only dropped to number 8 there, so not too bad. LSU jumps up to number 6. And then we have, who else do we have? Colorado, number 13. Virginia Tech, number 17. And we have finally Wyoming coach Big Papa Jr. sneaking in at number 24 after his amazing start to the season. The players of the week this week, actually Morgan Pearson was the national and Big 12 player of the week. Jaden Raw was only the offensive Pac-12 player of the week, but still big games for both of them. 8 tackles, 2 sacks for Pearson, and 22 carries, 150 rushing yards, and 4 rushing touchdowns for Jaden Baugh. Balled out. He just balled out. That was an amazing game from him. And the Heisman race actually got really interesting. Out of nowhere, seemingly, wide receiver Khalil Ingram from LSU is now the number 1 candidate for the Heisman at the time being, followed directly behind him by his teammate and Caden Durham. So we'll see if Coach Sleeper can keep them on top for the rest of the year and hopefully bring home that Heisman trophy to the Big 12 for the 3rd straight year. And we're going to look at the offenses. Not only is Colorado the number 1 offense in the Big 12, Shane Falco has the number 1 offense in the nation, period, at the moment. Just giant numbers from him so far this year. 55 points a game is ridiculous. So continues to do big things over there in Colorado. UConn, still very, very close. They played a lot of games. I still don't think they've had a bye week yet, which is shocking. But we have a lot of players up there towards the top in the offensive category for the Big 12. For the defensive category for the Big 12, Florida remains on top and actually pulling away in their defensive performance, only allowing 1,200 yards total in total offense. So their defense has been absolutely killing it. 16 interceptions for them, 20 sacks. And then Wyoming obviously still putting up big numbers in the interception department with 25 interceptions. And then we're going to look at conversion percentage. And again, Florida's on top, showing you why they are number 3 in the nation. 67% of the time they come away with points. Or I'm sorry, this is third down conversion. They come away with a successful third down conversion, which is an amazing rate to have. Colorado right there behind them with 63 and Tulane with 60. Shout out to these coaches for doing great jobs on the downs that matter. The third down conversions are a big deal, and they are showing why they are at the tops of the nation in that category. And then we are going to look at overall recruiting, and Tulane remains on top with a staggering 1 5-star, 9 4-star recruits at the moment. But Florida chomping at the bit with 3 5-stars, and Cincinnati, Virginia Tech not too far behind. And that is it for this week's weekly update. I appreciate you guys always for tuning in, for commenting, for liking, for subscribing. It means the world. I appreciate you guys so much. And we are going to go ahead and get this week going. Like I said, we got a big game tonight with Cal and Virginia Tech. We have Florida and Colorado coming up. And just Tulane and LSU. So we have a lot of big games. Keep an eye on the Discord for when those games are going to happen. Good luck to everybody that has games. And we will advance the week on February 25th at midnight, or it will advance automatically if everybody readies up. So just keep that in mind, guys. I appreciate you as always. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day and an even better tomorrow. Thanks, guys.